this is the Midwest Picker. Thanks for coming back. So in this video we're going to talk about how to list your item on eBay for the very first time. So I'm going to list this cassette tape. This is Supertramp Breakfast in America. It's a used cassette. We're going to go to the screen, and this is the first time I'm using screen capture software, so I hope this works out pretty good. So we're going to list it together. We're going to go through all the steps so that you can imitate what I do, and of course different items, tools, glassware, clothing, they're all going to be a little bit different as far as the item specifics, but this gives you a general idea of how to list something for the very first time. Page. So when you're logged in, this is what you'll see. So there's multiple ways we can list this cassette tape. You can go up here where it says sell, or you can do a tricky way where you search for the same cassette and you do sell the same as somebody else, but we're going to do it the old-fashioned way. So you're going to log into eBay, your name will be over here, you'll be all set. So you click up here in the upper right corner, you're going to click sell. And it might ask you to log in. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. So the newest thing that eBay has is they have a catalog, and they want to try to connect your item to the eBay catalog that already has all of the item specifics preloaded. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But so we're going to go up here, we're going to type Supertramp, and the name of the album is Breakfast in America, and it's a cassette tape. I guarantee that's not going to be in the eBay catalog, but CDs are. So this is the eBay catalog right here, and it's all CDs, maybe LPs, but they don't have cassettes. So if you're selling anything, a tool, clothing item, anything, they're going to try to tie it to their catalog. So we're just going to skip all this because they don't have it. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, do you see one like yours? Nope. Continue without selecting a product. So you can, even if it's in the catalog, you can still skip it. So we're going to skip it. We're just going to do it fresh. So when I put that item up there, what are you selling? It's going to automatically feed it in here. So this is really important. This is the title, and you have up to 80 characters. And this is expensive real estate. You have to make sure you do everything that's relevant and important in this title, because this is the shortest field that you have for listing. So most importantly is the band. It's Supertramp. That's what people are going to be searching for. Next, they're going to search for the name of the album, Breakfast in America, and then the format. Is it a cassette tape? Is it a CD? Is it an LP, a vinyl LP, whatever it is. It could be a DVD, who knows. So you put all that in there, and you can see I still have room to put more stuff. So I could put used, I could put anything I want, but I'm just going to leave it simple like this. A lot of people have opinions on using capitals or all caps or exclamation points. From what eBay has said, that has no bearing on the search results. It has nothing to do with anything. As long as this is all relevant, spelled correctly. If it was like, say, a coffee mug, you would, like I always pick on this, Godiva chocolate coffee mug, I use that in a lot of videos. You would say Godiva coffee mug ceramic, or I take that back, Godiva chocolate coffee mug ceramic. Then you can add words like cup or 12 ounce to add to the details. So I have my title in there. Next is a subtitle. I never use this. This is $1.50. If you want to add more to the title, have a subtitle. I don't know too many people that do that. It's kind of expensive. So next, eBay is going to guess the category for your item, and they're really, really good at doing this. So eBay has already caught on to that it's a cassette tape. So eBay suggested the category music cassettes. 99% of the time they're accurate. I just leave the category alone. If the category is incorrect, let's say this is a reel-to-reel tape and it's not on there, you can change the category. Like this is other formats, you would do that. Or if it's completely off base, say it's a collectible, vintage, something that they don't have here, excuse me, you can click here and do search categories. So we'll do that right now, and you can just type whatever you want. Cassette tape. And then you search. And it's going to have all these other options that you can, and there's the one right there that the eBay picked. But it gives you more, and you can do that if you like. I usually don't, but You can add a second category. I rarely do that. If I want to get a lot of exposure for an expensive item, I might pick a second category. But there is a fee. I don't even know what it is, maybe 50 cents. It's kind of high. I have a store, so if you don't have a store, you won't see this, but this says store category. So I am going to pick my store category of music, and not a second category. So variations. So variations is if you have more than one. So let's say you're selling like a crocheted knit cap, and they're all the same, but they come in different colors. So you could create variations if you're allowed to do that. And you could add colors, yellow, blue, green, orange, black, white, whatever, so that when the buyer sees your listing, they can choose the color they want. So that's an example of a variation. I just have this cassette tape. There are no variations. Now this is interesting, UPC. Now, a lot of items that are old and vintage won't have a UPC, so it's important to put does not apply and don't just leave it blank. The more fields that you can fill out here, the better eBay likes it, and you'll get a better search result. So don't leave anything empty if you can help it. Sometimes you can't help it. This one, amazingly, it does have a UPC, so I'm going to put it in and put enter here. So we'll do that. 075. And when you put your UPC code in, eBay will double check it. So if you make a mistake, they will let you know. But this does help with the search results. Some people do search by scanning. Some people have the eBay app on their phone, and they'll see this tape in a store, and they'll scan the UPC, and it'll pop up on eBay. So that does help. Now you can see they're looking up the UPC to make sure I didn't make a mistake. It looks like this is funny. It looks like there's a mistake. Well, let's see. I got 07502 13708 I'm not, you has an invalid number, enter invalid, blah blah blah. So I'm not sure what the problem is, so I'm going to just put does not apply. And you can see right there, if you caught that, eBay saves. Anytime you enter a field or change anything, eBay will automatically save it. So if your computer crashes, the website crashes, something goes wrong and you have to back out, you'll have a draft saved, so your work is saved. So that's pretty cool. I don't know what happened with the UPC. It's kind of funny. So that's an example of what happens if you put the UPC wrong. I'm not sure. I put it in exactly as it's shown, so maybe it's something to do with the cassettes. I don't know. So it does not apply. Not a big deal. Condition is important. You have to be totally honest. I'm going to say very good. Now this is kind of cool. Condition description is huge. You have 1,000 characters. A lot of people don't take advantage of this, so I'm going to put, let's see, I'll put very good condition, tested, and plays well. And I did test it, it does play well. So if you're doing anything that's electronic, CD player, radio, whatever, cassette tape, 8-track, vinyl record, try to test those things if you can and put that it was tested and it works. Especially video games or video game consoles, you want to test it and make sure it works, or even video game controllers. It helps a lot if you test it and it all works. And if it's a video game controller, you got to test all the buttons, make sure they all work. But if you can't test something, you have an 8-track that's used, just put in there good condition, untested. Just be honest. And if it's brand new, sealed in the package, there's no reason to even mention whether it's tested or not because it's new. One thing I forgot to mention at the beginning of the video is take your pictures ahead of time. So what I did is I took the pictures already and saved them to my laptop onto the folder I have in my eBay folder. Now you might have cloud-based storage like OneDrive or iDrive or Dropbox or whatever where you save your eBay photos. That's fine as long as you can access the pictures from this listing page. So I forgot to mention that, but yeah, take your pictures first. I'll make a video in the future about how to take pictures. Get that out of the way and stored so that when you come to this part, you're going to add your photos. And let's see, so I go to eBay, I'll go to pics, and I put it right here. I called it super. So these are my pictures. Click on one, left click, and then hold control and left click. You can select them all and click open, and then you'll watch eBay will load them up. Now, listing it looks like it's going to take a long time. This might be a long video, and I apologize for it. It won't take this long every time you list. Once you get good at it, you can list in 5 minutes flat. But I'm going extremely slow because it's a tutorial and I'm teaching. So this is your main picture right here. It says main photo. This is the thumbnail. This is what people will see when they search for your item on eBay. I have a very plain white background so that the item stands out better. Now down here is your editing tools, which are really cool. And the first thing I always do is I crop. So people don't want to see that background and all of that plainness, so I go like this and I just show the people what they want to see. You have to be careful. If you crop it too small, eBay gets mad and says your photo is too small or the file is too small. I don't know why that matters, but so now it's just the picture. The other thing too is that a digital photo is not as crisp and clear as the human eye. So this isn't cheating, but down here this little sun symbol, I think that's what it is the contrast and brightness. So I increase the contrast, make it sharper, and then I brighten it up a little bit and hit save. And it's not a big deal, it just makes it look a little bit better. Now these pictures, you don't necessarily have to crop all these and fix the contrast and the brightness. You can if you want. I took a picture of, this is the front of the cassette, this is the back of the cassette, shows the song list. This is just kind of like the side, sorry for that zoom. This is the cassette itself outside of the package. So when I do make a video on how to take pictures, I'll talk about the importance of how many pictures to take, what kind of pictures to take. But this is just the basics for the cassette. I've seen some people list cassettes or 8-tracks, and they only take one photo of the front, and that's it. So as a buyer, I would never buy that. I want to see this photo. I want to see this photo before I buy anything. So that's the pictures. Now, item specifics over here, this is really important. eBay keeps pushing this. The more item specifics that you can list, the better search results your item will get. So here it says genre. I'm going to say Supertramp is rock. And then this is another thing too, is when you have an item, eBay will suggest item specifics. So artist, I'm going to just say yes, I'll add Supertramp. And then it has a drop down for the type of rock, and I'll probably make some fans angry. You can leave this blank if you want. I can't find what I want, so I'm just going to leave it. It's just rock. Duration, if it has the time on the album, you can add the duration. I forgot to look it up, so I'm going to leave that blank. It's not an anthology or live or anything like that. Cassette condition, that would be the actual cassette tape itself. I would say it's excellent condition. The inlay is excellent. That's the paper insert of the album cover. The case is always bad. Cassettes are soft plastic. They get scratched and scuffed and beat up and cracked all the time. So I'm just going to say very good. And it really doesn't matter with the case because everybody knows that's going to be bad. Release year, I looked it up. I hope I got this right. It's 1979. This information, if you know it, you can check it. I don't know that. Country of origin, I'm going to just put USA because it didn't say anywhere on the cassette. But back in 1979, pretty sure it was made in the United States. If I'm wrong, I can always revise my listing and fix it later. So now you get down to your item description, and I don't think there's a limit on this. I could go on and on about the item description. You see here there's HTML code you can put in there. You can put templates in here. eBay used to offer templates for a cost. I don't know if they do anymore. Third-party companies offer templates for a cost, and it's very fancy. The only thing I'm going to say about that is if you're selling something very expensive, a gold Rolex watch or something like that, you might want to have a template because it makes your listing look more professional and it gives more assurance to the buyer that you're a legit seller. Other than that, I never use templates. Either the people that are buying are going to buy your item or they're not. What I do say about the item description is be honest, be descriptive, and be thorough, but don't be too wordy. I have very few descriptions for items on my eBay store that just go on and on and on. Now some of them are expensive. I have a fishing reel. It's $149. It has a quite extensive description because people are paying up a lot of money, so they're going to want to know the details. If this is a cassette tape for $5, just tell them what they need to know and that's it. So I'm going to put the cursor in the description. I'm going to repeat what's in the title. I'll put super. Of course, I'm typing while being recorded, so my brain doesn't work. Super Tramp cassette album breakfast in America. Very good condition. Tested and plays well. And I'm glad they have spell check because I need it bad. And then I do this sometimes for the details. I'll do the bullet points. I'll put A&M Records 1979, any details, and it's all different. If you have tools or glassware, you're gonna have a lot more details, like the size and the age range and all kinds of stuff like that. So if you want, you could click on the link in the description of this video at the very bottom. I think there's a link to my eBay store, so you can look up some of my items and just look at my descriptions. They're pretty straightforward. So let's see, I'm pretty sure that's spelled right. Supertramp cassette album, Breakfast in America, very good condition, tested, plays well. Not much more to say about a cassette. That's about it. So now I also have a file down here. It's a notepad that has my terms and conditions. So I just copy that and I keep that on my computer and I paste it in, and it's the same for everybody. You can read it yourself. Excuse me, I'm not going to read it again, but it's basically saying that I will ship the item within 3 days of payment. I don't use stock photos. I accept returns if it's in the same condition. I ask them for positive feedback if they're happy. You can put whatever you want in there. You should put something like your return policy, things like that. You can plagiarize me, I don't care. But give some kind of conditions. If you just put Supertramp cassette, it's not a lot of information. I don't want anybody to be surprised. I want them to know that this is stored in a smoke-free home, all that kind of stuff. So now we get down to the nitty-gritty. So this is selling details, and this is the selling format. So you have two formats. I'm going to do fixed price first, and then I'll go back up and show you what it's like to do auction listing. So fixed price is good till canceled. So basically what that means is you list this for a fixed price, and if it doesn't sell within 30 days, eBay will relist it again. And what happens is if you have to pay for your listings, eBay will automatically charge you every 30 days. So let's say you don't have an eBay store and you're brand new. It's 35 cents for you to list it. So just know if it doesn't sell in 30 days, unless you take the listing down and cancel it, eBay will automatically relist it for you, but then they're going to charge you 35 cents. No big deal if you have one listing, but if you have 10, 20, 30, 50 listings, it starts to add up. So just know that this cassette's not worth a lot of money. So if it keeps getting relisted, that's eating away at your gross sales. So I have an eBay store, so I get 100 free listings, so it doesn't affect me as much, but I do have like 169 listings, so I am paying for some of them. Alright, so we're going to go fixed price listing, good till canceled. Start my listing when I submit them. So you can schedule the listing. Let's say you don't want, it's Tuesday night. So let's say you want this to start Sunday and Sunday. You have a theory that that's better. You can schedule the date and the time in the time zone if you don't want to list it tonight, right now. I almost never do that. I just list it automatically. So this is a pretty cool cassette. I did some comparables, and prices are all over. We're going to start $7.95. That might be a little high. That's fine. But that's going to be your buy it now price. So if somebody wants it and they click buy it, that's what they're going to pay. And they'll be invoiced that from eBay. So now down here is best offer. You can let people make offers. This does help in your search results. Some people don't want to look at anything unless they can make an offer. So if you don't check that, you might reduce your search results a little bit. I always allow offers unless it is a firm price. So let's say it's a gold coin that's worth $1,200 and I put it on eBay for $1,200. I'm not going to take any less than that. That's what I want for the item. So you would uncheck that. So if you're very firm on the price, make sure that's unchecked. But if you're not, you know, I got this cassette for, I don't know, a quarter. I really don't care. If somebody wants to offer me $6, I'm going to take it. So that's what that is. Now you have options under best offer. You can automatically accept offers of at least this amount that you put in there. You have to be very careful because that's, you know, a contract. If you say you'll take $3, but you want $7.95 and somebody offers you $3, bam, it's sold for $3. So I always leave that blank. Automatically decline offers lower than. That will just, eBay will just automatically decline their offer for you. So you could put like $2 in there or whatever you want. I usually leave it blank. Quantity. So quantity is for identical items. So if I had 10 of these identical cassette tapes, Supertramp, Breakfast in America, used, tested, general condition is all the same. And let's say I had like 10 of them, you would change this quantity and you would say I have 10. Now you'll watch, eBay will save this up here. See that, how it saves it for you? Pretty cool. I don't have 10, I only have 1. So I do have some coasters like Miller Lite beer coasters. I have like 80 of them. So if you have more than one, make sure you change that to quantity. Now this says sell as a lot. You don't have to check this, but I have some lots on eBay where I have 3 different cassettes. And it's all 3 for one price. So if you do that, you can check this and say, I have a lot of 3 cassettes. Supertramp, AC/DC, Blue Oyster Cult. 3 cassettes in a lot for $7.95. That does help somehow in the search results. You don't have to do that if you're doing a lot, but that's an option you can do there. If you have multiple quantities, you obviously want to do this because let's say you had 10 identical Supertramp cassette tapes. You don't want to do 10 listings and pay 35 cents for every listing. So if they're identical, you would put the quantity 10 here, and then the listing will stay up as people buy them. The quantity goes down, and eBay will say, you know, 7 of them, 3 sold, or 5 of them, 5 sold, and it's really kind of cool. Kind of like a store almost. Private listing, allow buyers to remain anonymous to other eBay users. I never check that. You can if you want. You can make a donation. Sales tax, I can make a whole video on that. This video is for entertainment purposes only. This is just pure fun. I'm not a tax expert. I'm not a business owner. In my personal opinion, sales tax is if you own a business. And it's very complicated. eBay will collect the sales tax for you. This is something new that eBay started doing. A lot of states are passing laws where e-commerce have to charge sales tax, and it's very complicated. Some states like Florida have a different sales tax for each county. I don't know how many. There must be at least 50 counties in Florida. All of them are a little bit different. It's a nightmare trying to keep track of that because if your customer buys it and they live in a certain county, a certain place in the country, the tax is just all over the place. So I personally leave this blank, but I can't tell you what to do. You do whatever you want to do. I would recommend that you go on the internet and research this topic and figure out for yourself what you're going to do. But again, I'm not a tax expert. This is entertainment only, so that I can't tell you what to do. Do whatever you want on that. I had to take a sip of my sun tea. All right. I get long-winded, I get dried out. So, shipping details. Right now, business policies, I just have a default of PayPal. Coming soon, there'll be managed payments through eBay. So this option will change. It's June 25, 2019. So that's what I have right now. If I drop down, I really don't have anything. So it's just PayPal for now. Shipping policy. I do have a video on shipping. I encourage you to watch that. I have policies, a whole bunch of policies. So because I have these policies pre-selected in my business settings, whatever that's called on eBay, I'm going to go first class $3. So basically this is a flat rate shipping cost. Anybody that buys this cassette, and I don't do global for stuff that's this cheap, it'll be in the United States, it's $3. And that covers the shipping cost, the padded envelope, the shipping label, my time, my gas money, all that. It's probably going to be a little more, maybe 350, 325, I don't know. But this will help it sell because it's fairly cheap and it's really fast shipping. Some people would sell an album for $7.95 like this right here and offer free shipping, but then you gotta subtract around $3.25 off of that. I'm not doing all that. So if I'm gonna start out, I'm gonna charge shipping, and then if this cassette doesn't sell for 6 months, then maybe I'll go to $2 or free just to get rid of it. But for now, it's gonna be $3. Return policy, I have 30-day free returns. That's up to you what you want to do. You could do 30-day returns, but the buyer pays for the return shipping. You could do free, where you pay for the return shipping. You could do 14 days. You could do no returns. Let's see what I've got here. I got no return. I don't know what all this stuff is, but the reason I do 30 days free returns is because people almost never ever return an item. I've had 2 returns in a year. One was a tool because it was smaller than they expected. Like, okay, whatever. So I just relisted it on eBay. The other one was a sweater. The buyer wasn't satisfied with the condition of the sweater. She said that there was issues with the condition that I didn't put in the description. Instead of her shipping it back to me, if there were condition issues, I'm not going to relist it on eBay. So I refunded her purchase price and told her just to keep the sweater. So she was thrilled, gave me positive feedback. It's a loss, but you're talking one item out of hundreds and hundreds of items. So don't be afraid to offer free 30-day returns. Unless you're selling laptop computers and gold jewelry and diamonds, you're probably not going to get scammed. If you're just selling stuff like I've listed or talked about in my other videos. If you're listing something expensive, say like a vintage antique, something very valuable, you can say no returns. That's fine. But there's a lot of politics involved with that, because even if you say no returns and the buyer complains to eBay and they claim that the item is not as described, eBay will get involved and you might be forced to refund their money if they return it. So that's a long topic. You can look that up, of people complaining on the internet about the return policy for eBay, how it favors the buyer and not the seller. So that's the return policy. Now we're going to talk about package weight and dimension. Is not so important because I'm doing flat rate shipping of $3. But if this was part of the global shipping program that I talk about in another video, you might want to put the package dimensions and weight so that the buyer has an idea of what it's going to cost them. This is pretty much for the actual shipping cost that you would put all of this information in there. But if you do flat or free, you don't have to put anything in there, so I don't. It's got my location so that when my item shows up and they see it, they'll say, hey, it's coming from West Michigan, and they live in California. It gives them an idea how long it's going to take. If they live in Battle Creek, Michigan, they'll be like, oh, that's cool. I probably get that in a day. It'll come really fast. So that's why that's there. And some people only buy from sellers in the United States. They don't want to buy from somebody in Hong Kong or China for whatever reason, so they want to know where it's coming from. You can change that. I think you can take it out. I'm not sure what would happen. Let's see what happens if I take it out. So far, nothing. It's saving. Yeah. It didn't get mad or anything. Sometimes like a little red asterisk will show up there, but whatever. I don't care if they know where I live. But you can take that out if you want to. And you can see eBay is saving it right there. Promoted listings. You might not have this option. I have this where I can promote my item. So if I check this, what happens is I can pay eBay to promote my item for me. So it actually shows up twice in the search results. It'll be just the regular search results and then the promoted item. So it gives it a boost, more visibility. The problem is they take a big chunk. So you can change this percentage as much as you want. I can change it to 1% if I wanted to. Then it's only 8 cents. So yeah, I'll leave it on there. Why not, for 8 cents? It gives it a little bit extra. This I don't even touch. Volume pricing. Like I said, if you're up here and quantity is more than 1, you can give them a volume discount if you qualify. I think you have to qualify for this. You check this and you say if you buy 2 or more you get this much off, and 3 or more of this. So that really helps. It's kind of like a sale. And because I went over my limit, I have to pay to list this, so it's a 30-cent. Video shut off for some reason. If you don't have a store or free listings, you're gonna, I think it's 35 cents that you have to pay to list it, and they're up front and they'll show you the fee. So far the fee is 30 cents. I think if I was up here, let's see here. Yeah, let's check this. If you pick all this extra crazy stuff that's expensive, I think it adds it for you down here to the fee. Yeah, so see, my fee is now $4.30. So whenever you pick this stuff, it will show you at the end. So we'll take that off. I'm not paying $4. Subtitle, all that kind of extra stuff. So that's it. And then before I list it or do anything, I always go back up to the top and I check my title. Probably more legitimate to capitalize the name of the album. That would be more accurate. But anyway, the category is correct. UPC, I don't know what went wrong with that. The condition, I did that. The photos, I'm happy with the photos. The rock, I don't know if it would help to be specific. Rock and roll under rock, that's kind of funny. Yeah, so my item specifics are fine. My description, it's spelled correctly. Everything they need to know. My conditions of sale. Oh yeah, so this is fixed price, $7.95. So I was going to show you the format. You can do auction. So let's change it to auction style. So once you have auction style, you have to pick a starting price. So that's a lot of theories behind starting price. You could start it at 1 penny if you want. I would not do that unless it's a really hot item that's super popular. Let's say vintage Star Wars action figure from 1977 that you know is worth at least $100 and people are going to go crazy when they see it on eBay. Go ahead and do it for a penny because you know there's going to be an auction bidding war. Something like this cassette tape from 1979, no. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start the price at what I want for it, $7.95. Buy it now price is an option. I'll take that out. That's where people can just buy it outright before anybody bids on it. I believe that's how it works. So the auction 2, you can change the days. It's defaults to 7 days. That's what I always do. You could do short auctions or you could do a little bit longer. I just do 7. Start, again, you can change the start time. Starting price, you could take a gamble. You can do 99 cents, but if it only gets 1 bid, you have to sell it for 99 cents. So you have to be very careful on the starting price. Let buyers make offers. I would take that off. Now, if nobody bids, it doesn't sell and is done in 7 days. I'm not sure if, I don't think eBay will relist it automatically. You'll have to check into that. I think once the 7 days is over and nobody bids on it, it's just done and it goes into the unsold category on your dashboard. Again, quantity, lots, the same questions, sales tax, donating, the shipping. None of this is any different really. Promoted listings and volume pricing I think is not available on auctions. The fees, so auctions are fun if you've got a popular item that's going to sell well. So we'll go back to fixed price, and this is good till canceled. And we'll go $7.95. Fixed price, start now, $7.95, only 1. Make sure all the fields haven't been, sometimes it's glitchy, you know, the eBay app on your phone or the website, it can be glitchy and it can make mistakes. I've seen it happen. So I got my location, I got my 1%, what the heck, I don't care, 30 cents. So now we're at the bottom of the listing page. So now you have options. Right here, the big blue button is obvious, it's list. Once you hit that, it goes live all over the internet and it's on eBay. So make sure you have the physical cassette tape in your possession. Make sure you have your packaging materials, your padded envelope, your shipping supplies. If you said you're going to ship it within 3 days, make sure you're capable of doing that. Because once it's up, it's up. It could sell within seconds of you listing it, so be prepared. Preview is if you want to see what the listing looks like to everybody else before you put it up on eBay. I don't ever do that. Save as draft. if you're not ready to list right now, you can save it as a draft and go back later and list it later. So that's what that is, and then cancel is if you don't want to list it at all. I think if you hit cancel, it won't save it as a draft. So if you want it to save as a draft, you can either close it here or obviously hit save as draft. So we're going to hit list item. Takes a few minutes. Depends on your internet speed and how busy eBay is at the time, I guess. Alright, success. You've listed your item for sale. Check it out. You can click the link and look at your item if you want. Now this is a really cool feature. Complete another draft. I'm done now. Create similar, create new, and save as template. So if you have a lot of cassettes, like me, I have like 20 more cassettes, you can click create similar. So what that'll do is it'll bring up the listing again, and it'll have almost all the fields filled in already, and you just have to change it. So if I'm going to list a Van Halen album, I just change the title, the description, the pictures, the item details might still say rock and roll and A&M records. You just have to change all those details and specifics, but it saves a little time because it'll also default to good till canceled, buy it now, the same price, $7.95. The shipping is the same. So you just have to go through and tweak the details. So it does save you some time. Create new is basically a blank template, just like you're creating something brand new. Save as a template, I don't think I've done that before. So if you have a lot to list, say like you have 5 different coffee mugs or 5 different LPs, 5 different sweaters, it does save you time to do create similar. Complete another draft. I'm not sure if I've ever used that. I just do I'm done now. So this is kind of like your dashboard. There's different ways to view this. This is active over here, and these are all the items I have. So I'm going to scroll down to the bottom, go to page 2, and like I said, I probably have about 170 now. So if we scroll down here, I want to see what that fishing reel is doing. 132 views, 2 watchers. Yeah, it's doing good. So we scroll down, and there it is. So this is kind of how people will see it when they search on eBay, sort of. For you to search for your own item, it's kind of skewed because if you have cookies enabled on your browser, eBay knows that you're looking for your own item, and it just doesn't look right. You should go on somebody else's computer, your work computer, or clear all your browsing history and then search if you want to test it to see how it shows up in the search results. But this is it right here. So if you click on the name, this is your view of the listing. It's a little different than the public's view, but here you can see you can revise your item, sell a similar item, create discounts. You can see my seller information's over here. If you float over it, you can zoom in. Here they can see the shipping. This is what the customer or the potential buyer will see. These are the different photos. They just float over those. Specifics are here. The description is here, and then sometimes it'll say eBay will ask the buyer, do they want to see my store? I don't see that on here right now, maybe because it's just not refreshed yet. So that's what it looks like as far as listing your item. Okay, so there you have it. We listed this cassette. It's up on eBay. If it sells, maybe I'll do what sold on eBay, and we'll talk about how much I got for it. So this is the Midwest Picker. Thanks for watching. Give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, do that. It helps me out a lot. Thanks a lot.